Tiger Woods from Metal Roofing Online. Today I'm going to be showing you how to install the roll top ridge on the top of this gable roof. Everything else is done except for the roll top ridge, obviously. Now, before I get started, I'll just explain to you that I am using a different coloured roll top ridge, and the only reason being for that is that we had this bit laying around in stock. So this is a wind spray colour roll top ridge, and it does not match these sheets, but this is just for display purposes, so it doesn't really matter in this occasion. But if you are ordering the roll top ridge for your own roof, make sure you get it the same colour as your sheets. Okay, the first thing I'll do is pull the plastic off it. Now it's a little bit of a windy day today, so I'll just have to be fairly careful. Once I take this onto the roof, I'll quickly get a couple of fixings in the ends so that it doesn't blow away, and then I'll start getting it in position properly. Okay. Now if I just hang that past slightly and make sure that the center of the roll there matches up with the center of those barge cappings, and then I can just get a fixing in both sides to hold it in place. Now I'll just shorten this end up a little bit, because I'm unable to see from where I am if that's center of these barge cappings or not. So if I shorten it up, I'll be able to see a lot better. There we go. Now that's the dead center of that one as well. Hold each side down with my feet once I've got it in position. That way it won't move. Now that I've got that safe there with those rivets in it to hold it so the wind doesn't blow it away, there's lots of different ways to make this neat across the top here. The way that I choose to do it is I normally mark the edges of this barge capping, so that edge there, and I'll leave a little bit of a lap here at the top, and then I square a line from those two marks, like that, and the same on this side. That's going to leave me with plenty of lap across the top of these barge cappings, so that no water's going to get into that area. And with the top here of the roll, I normally make that exactly in line with the front of the face of this barge capping, and you're going to be left with this gap here, and then I'll normally put a cap over the end, which I'll show you how to do at the end. And then I'll go down the other end and I'll do exactly the same thing. Okay, before I put the rivets down this edge here, I'm going to just make sure that the middle's straight. It's a good sign if it's not bubbling, that if you have got a bubble in the ridge, it'll mean that you need to adjust it slightly, that it's not sitting straight. But this one looks okay at the moment. I'll just run my eye along it and just make sure. Yeah, that looks like it's sitting perfectly straight. So I'll just put a couple of rivets in the middle, and then I won't be putting any more rivets in that, because the way we fix the sheets down is we screw them down. When I was laying the corrugated sheets here, what I've done is I have marked the center of this ridge batten. So I just need to lift up the edge of the ridge there so that I can see where that batten is, so that I can make sure my screws that go through the roll top ridge go straight into that batten. Okay, now I just come back to this section here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my rivets down the edge here and down here. Usually the spacing on those rivets is about 40 mil apart. Now it's a good idea to get rid of all the swarf from under there, and also to put some silicone between the joints. So I'll just clean out all that swarf from under there. And look, this is just a demo house to show people what to do, so doesn't need to be 100% watertight. But if this is a house on your roof that you're doing, make sure you put some silicone underneath this join here. Look, in saying that, you've got the barge capping here, which laps over. You've got the sheets that come all the way to the center of the ridge. Look, there's not much chance of any water getting up there, but it is a good idea to have a secondary barrier there. Okay, now we'll go to the other side and do exactly the same thing. Okay, and now that I've got this ridge in position and I'm happy with the way it's sitting, now I'm going to put the screws in it As I said before, I have marked a few of these every second or third sheet so that I know where the center of that batten is. Looks like by this mark, I usually mark the bottom of the batten and the top of the batten. So the bottom of the batten's down here. So look, the center of the timber batten's going to be roughly around the center of the break of the roll top ridge here, which is a good position for it. I'll just double check at the other side. Yeah, look, I've got one here as well. So the center of that's going to be perfect. Now my screws that I do in the roll top ridge are exactly the same pattern as the bottom row that I've done there. So it's every second corrugation. So I'm going to be putting a screw in every second corrugation along the edge of this ridge on both sides. So I'll pre-drill all those now and then I'll put those in. And don't over tighten these screws because it will leave a little dent in the edge of the ridge there. So just try and put it in until the washer on the screw just touches the roll top ridge. Okay, that's all the screws in the top of the roll top ridge. Now to finish it off, I just need to cap these ends here. We don't want to leave that open because the weather can blow rain in there or insects can get in there. So we'll cap the end of this off. There's a couple of different ways we can do it. If you want to cover up the whole join of the barge capping there, you can put like a teardrop shape in there. I just like to put a straight bit. I'm happy with the way that barge capping looks, so I'm going to put a straight cap across here with a couple of tabs on the top that I can rivet to the top of this, and I'll put a couple of rivets in there as well. Usually you've got a bit of the roll top ridge left over because I cut down on the angles there. I've got those triangle bits of metal left over, so I'll just use those for the tabs. I'll just go find one. So that's basically how the bottom's going to look. Just make sure you've got a neat cut on the bottom there. Once I've got that in position, I might just put a rivet in it now to hold it in place, which I will take out once I've marked it all. Okay, so now that I've got a fixing in that, I can get that nice and straight, and I can mark the roll. If I reach over to the other side of it, I can exactly mark the shape of the roll of the roll top ridge there. And I'll just mark where I'm going to put my tabs as well. Put one there and one on that side. Now I'll just remove that rivet again. And you can see where I've marked that there. What I also like to do is I'll cut a little bit wider than the mark of the roll top ridge there, so that I can tap it around the top of the ridge. There we go. Okay, now I'll just put the rivet back in the face there. And I'll also get one in the other side of it. Okay, now with your pliers or a hammer or something, you want to tap all this across the top here. Actually, what I might do is I'll just tap these lap pieces down first and put a rivet in those, and then I'll tap the rest of it around. Okay, so there's no gaps there. That's basically how to cap off the end of your roll top ridge. I've done this one side. I'll go to my other side and just finish that, and then the ridge will be done. I might just show you how to do it a different way, because at the other side I've done the straight piece. What I might do is I might show you how to do it with the teardrop, so that you know how to do both different ways. So with the teardrop, you basically want to bring the center of it down to the bottom of the join in the barge capping there. And I'll mark the center of that. And carefully holding that in place, you want to mark the outline of the roll of the roll top ridge at the back there. And then the same as the other side, we want to make sure we've got a couple of tabs on the top there, so that we can rivet it to the top of the ridge. So you can see there that I've made my outline. There's the top of the roll top ridge, and there's the piece that comes down on the angle there. Okay, and as you can see there, I've left the line there, and I've just made it a couple of mil wider than the line, because I'm going to tap that bit across the top, just so that there's no gaps where this meets the top of the ridge. I usually tap that bit around over the top. Okay, that's the two different ways of finishing off the ends of your roll top ridge. This one's a teardrop way, and the one I did at the other side was just a straight cut at the top there. Look, I've seen guys that have run their roll top ridge past a little bit and put cuts in it and just tapped it down around, but I don't think that looks as neat as what the two ways I've just shown you there. Yeah, thanks for watching. That's been an episode of how to install the roll top ridge on a gable roof. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of our YouTube instructional videos. I'm Darren.
And I'm Lily. We are part of the customer service team here at Metal Roofing Online. If we've been able to bring you any value here today, the greatest compliment you could give us is liking, loving and sharing this video online with everyone you know. Make sure to tag us, as we love hearing from our followers.
If you need any roofing materials, please head across to our website and take a look at the fantastic prices we offer and our huge delivery coverage across Australia. If you have any questions at all, please email or call us, as we would be happy to help you.